This morning is a big day on the farm. We are scanning all of the cows which I have spent the last 3 months AIing, and this is the first chance I'm going to have to find out how I got on. If you're wondering why I've left it so long to scan the cows, it was not on purpose. Normally I would scan every 3 to 4 weeks. It's just the way this year worked out. We scanned at the end of December and it was too early to pick up all of the AI cows, and then between a combination of me being busy, the man who does a brilliant job at scanning my cows being busy, we're only getting around to it now in the first week of March. I am actually very worried about this scan. I know that it's actually not going to be as good as previous years. I know it's not going to go well. I have seen a lot of repeats. I have AI'd a lot of repeats. There is cows that have been put on to do not breed lists because they've got 4 straws and they're not good cows. Whole range of combination of factors, but the takeaway for all of you is, when we're scanning these cows, I am not expecting amazing results, but I am hoping for good results. I am actually so worried that I'm not going to have the numbers in calve that I normally do, that when we AI'd our synchronized batch of heifers, which we done on Tuesday, I switched to conventional semen away from sex semen to try to get a better conception rate, try to get more of them in calve, so that I have the same number of cows calving down in the autumn as I'm expecting. So I'm going to leave the camera on, I'm going to record the scanning process, I'll leave my microphone on as well. Whether I do it as a time lapse or whether I stop it for some interesting bits of chat along the way, I'm not sure yet. And at the end of this video, after I've done my scanning results, I'm going to put all the information into the computer and I'm going to tell you how I got on and compare it to previous years. And I'm just warning you now, I don't think it's going to be impressive. I genuinely don't mind if it is not impressive, because it's very easy for me to show you all the things I do well, show you the silage I make, show you building electronics, but it's also good for me to show you the things which don't go well, because on every farm, some years things don't go to plan, things go badly, and if I was to put my money in anything this year, it would be the fertility and the breeding. I will set a marker down now for what success looks like, so that you can tell if I judge this a success or a failure at the end of this video. And success for me will be getting very close to the same numbers of cows calving in the autumn months next year as we have for the previous few years. And I have a lovely graph to show you that, so it'll be blatantly obvious if things have done badly, things have not went well, and I have less cows calving than I would have liked. Right, that's a good spot for you. When the PD man arrives, I'll turn the camera on and I'll catch up with you after the next hour and a half of scanning. And hopefully things are going better than I expect, but even looking at this list, I can see how many repeated AIs there are. I found heifers that were missed and not served at all, and they were 80 days in milk. Now there was only 3 of them, but that's still 3. So it's not going to go well. I have said this before, it has went well, but I'm sure this is not going to be an impressive scan at the very least. She is 57 days ago, 68 days ago, 82 days ago.
57 tallies up under it when she's carrying a female.
It's all sex semen this year, so. I didn't want sex semen. It was the only stuff I could actually get. It's ridiculous. I got 10 straws of conventional, that was it. 7426. She is not in calve, she's for the factory. Hopefully she's not in calve. The bull could have caught some of these, but...
No, she's not even cycling.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a nice problem this year that we are already at the most amount of cows we can milk.
Right.
And we have another 60 cows to calve.
What kind of heifers do you have in every the ones that you
They're sold, they're all calved in, bar one. And then I'm going to sell 25 cows at the end of the year that are in calve. She's a freeze brand.
She slacked off on milk. Remember, she wouldn't be kicking her out to drying off.
356, she very well could be. She's one of the ones that's not in calve, so if she's in calve, We're gonna.
I'll be sticking around for 200 days.
We'll have to scan all them then. Come on. She is 7'6", 6'7", 9". She's 75, 64, and 47. And she was on the wrong side of the cow house, so if she's ran since, I wouldn't have seen her.
There's no calf here, but she hit roughly 2 weeks ago, slightly over. So.
That would make sense. 80 days ago, and then nothing, and then 23 days ago. And she's probably ran 2 days ago, but didn't AI her? Sorry?
Your 80 days tallies up.
It's the first one that's actually been AI'd when she shouldn't have been. 7, 8, 17. Just the one AI date at 57 days, but she's had tons of heat since. But I haven't AI'd her.
Fortunately not.
She's probably just after. She's the one at 43 days.
Very close to her next heat.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Due on.
She'll not be in calv, but check her anyway. She's 32, 13, and 10.
Mid-cycle.
Yeah.
Mid-cycle.
I've about 10 straws left to use, and then I'm handing over to the bull. 7709. Would normally take a month off breeding, but I'm going to not take a month off this year. She's all over the place. 57 days ago, and then nothing, and then she's been AI'd 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
Me, she had a heat about 10 days, 10 to 12 days.
10 days ago, yeah. I cut the meal back on them 4 or 5.
Seem to be developing into a bull calf. Is that sex semen or beef?
Probably was sexed actually. I get about 14-15% of a sex for bull. I think it's like 83 or 84% or how. 543. Bull calves are making good money at the moment.
Is that right?
Yeah. 65 days and 86 days, no heats since.
65 days, female.
This batch has went a lot better than the first 2.
Yeah.
Come on. She is 7844. Where's that? Yeah, she's not even on the list. Yeah. She should just be about to cycle again. She's 64, 42, 20.
Yeah, dominant follicle starting to dominate there. So
Probably 20.
Due on, yeah.
Due to heat or?
Due into heat.
Yeah, okay.
Was she carrying semen 20 days ago?
20 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, I said she's going to repeat.
That's okay. You've never thought of starting a social media or YouTube or?
I wouldn't have minded, you know, but
It's mental.
I think you need a very strong mind for negative people.
I don't get any.
Eh?
I don't think you get any. I have like genuinely 0 people that have been negative, like 0. I don't understand it either.
The amount of friends I would have on social media that is more so Facebook page and stuff that puts up their farm and daily life, and the amount of people.
I don't know whether it's a TikTok thing or I don't know, but I get genuinely 0. Like one of the reasons I've asked people why I don't get any negative comments, and people say that I'm too intimidating because I sort of back everything up.
Aye, you know you get an answer back. That's right.
Yeah, they will get an answer back. Yeah. 80 and 76. And see if you get views in your video.
Yeah.
It'll make you a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of money. That's wrong. It's extra money, which you don't have to really work for.
Yeah.
So it's like £500 a month in your bank account that you didn't expect, sort of thing.
I could put 75 days here.
She's 76.
76. Yep.
You have an interesting enough job that people would,
I probably be
and
interested in
it'd be really easy for you to make videos.
well, that's true. I know the Hoof GP over in Scotland.
Unbelievable.
He's done very well.
He's done extremely well.
Yeah. But you can listen to him.
Yeah. And everyone that I've chatted to, who, like, he messaged me a few weeks ago, but everyone I've chatted to who does it are like the nicest people.
Yeah.
Like they're all like so like down to earth.
Aye.
63 and 21.
I nearly have supportive.
Yeah.
Is she ate 21 days
21.
ago? There's no sign of her going to repeat, so it's a fair
I'll
good
put
sign.
a recheck
She's away
then.
with that.
So that is the scanning finished. How did we get on? That is the question I'm sure you all want to know. Well, we got on okay, but not good. We scanned 84 cows this morning. 8 of them cows were fresh or were on a do not breed list. So that takes us down to 76 cows, which we were hoping would go in calve. And out of the 76 cows, we have 39 pregnancies. Now, that might not sound that bad. However, that was 3 months of AIing these cows, and there is lots of the cows on this list have had multiple straws. So I reckon my conception rate over the last 3 months could well be around the 30% mark. I'm away this afternoon, but tonight I will put all this information onto the computer and we will look at the actual numbers. We will look at how we got on. We will compare it to previous years and we will try to figure out if I have any theories as to what went wrong. So I will catch up with you later this evening. I am such a tech genius to get all this working. Right, so I am going to add all of our PD results from this morning into the computer, into my farm software, and we will see how we actually got on, how far off previous years we are, and then we'll try to figure out what actually happened. Was it my fault? Was it my heat detection this year? Was it something wrong with the cows? Was it the nutrition? We'll get to all of that after we actually see how we got on. I feel like I'm streaming a game on Twitch or something with this set. If you don't know what Twitch is, it's like YouTube Live for gaming nerds, okay? 7367. Today is the 7th of March, and she was not in calve. Now, that's not bad, because she is 390 days in milk, and she was last PD'd not in calve in September, so she is absolutely going to the factory. Next cow, 7371. Not in calve. But, as you will notice, she's only 35 days in milk, so it's not a big deal. She was scanned just to check that everything was going okay with her because she was in the crush. We did not expect her to be in calve. She actually had a heat 2 days ago, so when she next cycles, she'll be eligible for a service. Although I won't be AIing at that point, so it'll be up to the bull to catch her. Add record. 7375. Our first cow that's actually in calve. And she is already down as being in calve. So she has already had a confirmed pregnancy. So there's no need to put her information in again. She has already been PD'd. She is already known to be positive. 7379. This is our first cow which did not hold to an AI. She was last AI'd on the 4th of the 3rd. Is that the same information I have? Why did I not have that AI date? Oh, 2022. 2022. So she's another one of them cows that was PD'd in September. She was not in calve then. We knew she would not be in calve now because she was on the do not breed list. She is almost certainly going to go to the factory very soon. If you look at the bottom graph, you can see that she is still giving 23 litres of milk, probably why she's still here. So we'll put in not in calve anyway, just so we have a record of it. And then we'll move on to our next cow, 7386. And she is our first cow that is actually in calve to an AI from this winter. So that's good. I will explain the graph at the bottom in 1 second. We are going to select the AI date that she held to, which was the 3rd of February. If we hit enter on that date, it will now tell us her predicted calving date down here, the day she went and calved, and we can add that to the system. This graph at the bottom shows this cow's lactation curves. So you can see lactation 1, pretty abysmal. Lactation 2 was a lot better. Lactation 3, she's really increased in milk yield recently. The little plus with the square behind it, that means she had a heat date, which is the grey square. And the plus means that she was AI'd to that date. And if there is a yellow circle around that plus, that means she conceived to that AI. So this is a cow 233. It's one of the oldest cows on the farm, and she has pulled it out of the bag again and went and calved to AI. So she went and calved to the 2nd AI date. I will add that. And if you look at her production graph, if you look at the graph at the bottom, you can see that she is currently on her 9th lactation, and every single lactation she has went and calved to AI. Some lactations it seems to have taken 2 or 3 straws, but most lactations she's went and calved straight away, and she yields well. What a brilliant cow. She also has a funny ear. One of her ears like drooped down, and I actually remember tagging her as a calf. So that's like 11 or 12 years ago. Right, that's them all added. Let's look at the stats and see how we get on. I'm going to go and write some queries, and then I'll finish this video off by looking at all the information, and we'll see if we can figure out why we didn't do as well as last year. The reality of farming is not everything works out, and this is a good example of something which has not worked out. I have known probably for the last 2 months that things probably weren't going like normal. I'll be honest, I still don't know why. I don't know what's happened, but it's just one of them years. It's just one of them things that's not went to plan. And it happens. It happens to everyone. It happens to me. And as I said at the start of this video, this is going to be a humbling experience. So on this main page, we can actually see some of our fertility stats for the last 12 months. And if you look in the blue, just down here, these are the 2 most important figures, and they're kind of to say that my cows generally are pretty fertile. The bull does a fantastic job. To be honest, I cannot take credit for this. This is very much our stock bull. This is why I use a stock bull. But cows pregnant under 100 days of milk, 61% for the last 12 months. Like, that's just incredible. Like, that's incredible. Thanks to the bull, not thanks to me. Anyway, let's get into the AI figures. First thing I want to look at is our calving pattern. And this is also what I said at the start of the video. Hopefully it's similar to last year. I don't think it's gonna be, but hopefully it is. One caveat, it is now the start of March. So we would have scanned up until about 24, 25 days today, maybe a wee bit lower. So that would take us back to the middle of February. Middle of February would take us to the middle of November. So we have PD'd up until the middle of November. So what we're really interested here in is the number calving in September, the number calving in October, and we at least want to see some calving in November because the next 2 weeks have to fill that out. That makes sense. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, that's actually not that bad. How has that happened? Okay, so yeah, right. Let me try to process this as well. Interesting, right, let me explain the graph that I'm sort of shocked at, okay? So this is our calving pattern down at the bottom, and the black line in the bar of the number that's going to calve in that month, or is predicted to calve in that month, is cows, or is animals that we have PD'd. So we generally don't PD our heifers. Now, we did last year, but generally we don't PD our heifers. So, for example, in February, there was 27 cows calved, and then there was a further 13 heifers. Does that make sense? There was 2 cows predicted to calve in February that slipped into March. Okay, so you can see if we look at the springtime first of all, that our calving pattern slipped from January in 2023, and we have had the cows go and calve later in the year. So last spring, our calving pattern sort of all slipped to the right. Why did that happen? I honestly don't know. It just did, okay? So the bull got everything in calve bar like 5 cows. So everything went in calve by bar like 5 cows, but unfortunately some of them were later in the year. So you'll see that we have quite a lot of animals to calve this month in March, but only 2 have calved so far. We have a lot more than normal to calve in April and May, and then we're finishing up with a few in June, right? So if we now move to the autumn time, which is the animals that we just scanned, we can see that the normal number we have calved in September is around 10 cows, but in this year, 2023, we had 16 cows calved. So we had more cows calving in September than any previous year. It was really good. It was good because we have to pull our calving pattern back to get cows calving it down in September. They basically have to go and calve to their first serve. In fact, they do have to go and calve to their first serve because we have a set date to start AI, which is normally the 1st of December. This year it was a few days later, like 3rd or 4th of December. I think it might have been the 5th actually. I think it was the 5th of December was the first cow AI'd. So in September, we have 11 cows calving. So that is spot on. That's fine. I can live with that. Happy with that, to be honest. Happy with 11 cows in September. That means they went and calved to first service. October, and this is what I'm surprised about. I thought October was going to be pretty bad, but we have 17 cows to calve in October, which is actually better than the last 3 years. Now, if you combine September and October, last year would have been better for cows calving, but still, I am surprised by that. The huge bar above the black line, that is our heifers. We have a stock bull with 30-something heifers on our out farm for the last 3 months. He always does an amazing job no matter what. So if we add on a similar number of heifers to calve, as there has been the last few years, we will probably be calving about 45 animals in October. So that's us with 55, 56 animals to calve in September and October, which is good. That's what we need. We need that. Then we get to November. Now, November was pretty bad last year. Probably because I don't know, is the honest answer. But this year, considering that we have two weeks of February still to scan, and I have AI'd a lot of cows in the last 3 or 4 weeks, a lot of beef semen used in the last 3 or 4 weeks, as you've seen from the fact that I used 44 straws basically in the last 3 weeks. I am very hopeful now that I look at this that we will get close to where we should be in November for cows calving. That is still achievable, and hopefully we get there. And then December, we've obviously no PD dates for that yet, so we will see how that goes. Now, we did also synchronize an AI a batch of 27 heifers this week, so they will be calving in December 2024. So say we get, normally we get about 55% conception with them heifers. So let's say we get that 55%, that's like 15 heifers calving in December that won't be calving in November. So last year we calved them in November, we've pushed them back to December for this year. So that's our first graph. If we look over on the right, we will see what sires these are out of. Ignore this Batman, it's actually a beef bull. I just haven't bothered adding it. I've been adding it as a Batman when I'm saving my AI records. We have 5 ruble reds. We have 2 Genettas, the rubbish 10% or 15% conception rate bull. We have a few R2D2s, no big loss. That bull dropped off a cliff when we went proving after I'd bought him. We have a few Yamaskas. Amazing that I have one Yamaska heifer, and I think I used like 20 straws last year. I can't even remember. We have a few Knights, which is nice. They're really nice heifers and really nice cows. So it'd be nice to get another 5 of them. We have another 5 sassafras, and that's it. So that gives us an idea of what sires that we're actually going to get on the ground. Now, final graph, I promise, there's been a lot of waffling, but final graph, we're going to look at our confirmed pregnancy chart, which is going to give us our heat detection rate and our pregnancy rate. So this is important because this is where we can attribute blame. If my heat detection rate is really bad, it's my fault. The cows weren't showing heats, yeah, fine. They weren't showing heats at all, but I should have picked them up. I probably need to do something for next year. Probably build my own collars. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not going to buy them. Don't tell me to buy them. I'll build my own. If it wasn't heat detection rate and the problem was the pregnancy rate, then conception rates are the issue. Now we already kind of know, because we've looked at the conception rates, that that is what we should expect to see. But let's find out. Okay, so the graph that we want to pay attention to is down here in the bottom right. And our heat detection rate has been fairly similar to previous years, right? So the issue hasn't been detecting the heats. That's what the green hashed bar is. It's my heat detection rate. And again, ignore this because it's not completed the whole 3-week period up until the 20th of March. So of course it's going to be lower. In general, heat detection rates have been good. The issue has been between the start of AI in December, we have only ended up with a pregnancy rate of about 33%. Previous 2 years, we were getting 60%. We move forward another 3 weeks, actually broadly in line with what I'm expecting. So that'll be the October calvers, the ones that I was surprised with. We've actually done okay there. February, it's been a fairly good result. Don't ask what is going on here. I suspect there's something wrong with my calculations here, because clearly a 100% pregnancy rate and then a 5% for 2023 is not going to be correct. These two will probably balance each other out. But if we use the red bars as a guide and the blue bars, because they're formatted correctly, you can see that where we've really suffered on our pregnancy rates has been at the end of January and the start of February. We're down at a 22% pregnancy rate. And if we go to the 27th of February, now bear in mind, some of these animals aren't scanned yet, but still we are down at a 2% pregnancy rate. So we have had some issue, I think, we've had some issue in February. And it's not my heat detection rate, it's the conception rate, which would tally up with my experience, because I started to get really worried during February. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, there was a lot of talking in that video, but thank you for watching. If you enjoyed seeing the reality of farming, seeing me admit what has went wrong, feel free to give this video a like, stick a comment down below, subscribe if you really enjoyed it. There is finally some dry weather here in Northern Ireland, so we should be out in the fields from basically this week on. So we'll be back to some tractors next week. Thank you for watching.